from Orlando, Florida.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Holy crap. That
right?
was crazy. East versus West 14. It was, what was the date on that?
The
August
10th.
10th.
August 10th,
Yes.
yeah.
Experience of a lifetime.
Yeah,
I would say.
I just want to say, I think that was the best sporting event I've ever been to.
Yeah, I don't know
me.
how loud it was for you guys up in the front.
Crazy.
These motherfuckers got VIP section. No, that's it. But it was super loud in the back. Like,
Yes.
I was screaming at the top of my lungs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't help it. Like, I was just like,
had to.
what? I was throwing my towel around, like jumping in the air. It was so awesome. The whole vibe was great.
It was just contagious. Like that the energy and like the emotions like put onto the athletes, it was just contagious. Like even if you were the type of person who's like conserve and like doesn't really express much,
right? I
think you were still just like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I think for me it was, there were some parts of that were like, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say this, where, the crowd almost got a little emotional because it was so significant, not just like the matches and the wins, but like what it means to have this event happen on North American soil.
Whoa.
Yeah. So you hit it on the nail, emotional. So I was telling Trey, when John won his match, I turned back and there was a guy who was just bawling. He was literally just like crying.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I couldn't blame him. I was like, I get it.
Well, from the first match, which was, it was Jonathan Breeder, right?
Yeah. And,
Ryan Ballinger versus Coach
Ballinger.
Ray.
God, that was crazy. We're going to talk about that. Those guys in North Carolina are doing something good.
Something
Carolina
different, right?
chaos.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Anyway, Ballinger, people were getting hyped then, but then the Breeder match, for whatever reason, we started getting the USA chants going.
Yeah.
So that like started everybody like being like, yes, fucking America.
That dude
and everybody's emotions.
He exudes America.
Yeah,
like you look at that guy and you're like, he's American.
I wonder if a USA chant has ever happened at an East versus West event overseas.
I don't think so.
I've never heard it.
I don't think I have either. I don't think I have either. Would we have heard it? Could you hear it through the live stream? Surely you could hear this. The crowd screaming.
I think North
USA.
Americans are just naturally very vocal, so I think we probably would have heard it.
Very patriotic.
So I spoke to Ian McGar yesterday. We had a long talk about our event coming up, but specifically he was like, man, holy shit, the audio. He's like, he wanted to know like how well we could hear everything.
Yeah.
I was like, we really could only hear Travis speaking. Everyone else, it was hard to hear during the event. And it wasn't because there was a lot of noise. It was just they spoke a lot lower than Travis did. But Travis's call and our reaction to his calls were insane. And he was like, you could 100% hear that. All the emotion, everything through on the stream. And I was like, oh, that's I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Because it was crazy in person.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Like, he was like, I was at home getting pumped up and everybody was yelling. And I was like, that is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. You couldn't hear the athletes at all.
Athletes or refs.
I talked to Robert Kelly about it. They made the decision not to mic up, or they mic'd up the athletes for the stream only, not for the live experience.
Oh, interesting.
Because of an echo. It was like commentary or athletes for live experience. Which do we want?
Yeah.
They decided commentary. It was a strategic decision.
Yeah.
And I think Travis ended up being the only one you could hear because it's Travis.
Right.
And he's screaming into his mic.
Yes.
It was funny, too, because at first, like, listening to Travis and, like, he's so just Travis. Like, he's going to say what you want, he's going to do what you want. I was like, man, I wish he was a little bit, like, not so... Like, I wish he was just a bit more, like...
Reserved, non-explanatory.
But then I was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
it's North American vengeance. I think this is what Engen would have wanted.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
That's why you have Travis there. It's for that.
Right. He knew. Yeah, Engen knew what he was going to get.
Exactly.
But I think he did well. I didn't feel like he overstepped, and I'm pretty critical of Travis. But I was like, no, he did exactly what he should have done.
Yeah.
Getting us amped up, talking a little bit of mess.
Yeah.
and he definitely helped bring, liveliness and got everybody on their feet, even though I don't even think he needed it.
No.
Everybody was there. It was just like super excited, and we couldn't even bring alcohol in. So if we could have, everybody could have had a little bit to drink, it would have been even more nuts. Yeah. But we were literally there sweating our asses off.
Yeah.
Sober.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Going nuts.
But I think
intoxicated just by the rush of
just what we were.
I think we were just high off of just everyone around. It was just the energy was just the high. I think that was all we really needed.
Right.
The moment for that guy, it was John Brzezinski in the crowd behind you.
Yeah.
For me, it was Michael Todd. I wasn't crying, but definitely got a little choked up for a second.
Definitely was like, I felt so happy for him.
Yeah.
And Dustin brought up a good point. This is kind of nothing to do with arm wrestling, just a little side thing. But it did make sense to me. It's like, that guy loves his wife.
Yes.
And that was, I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, there was
she loves him.
She loves him back. And you can see that they're like super invested in arm wrestling.
They're one.
They're one unit that is just like, no, arm wrestling's my thing. Our thing. And it showed when he was on the table with
that was
someone who was
his family came out of the crowd. They were crying. They were hugging him. He starts crying. Rebecca's crying. Corey's crying. Behind them.
So cool.
It was amazing.
And for me, was the buildup of seeing the interview between Camille and Michael.
Yeah,
I think that set such a great tone for that match.
Okay, all right. So maybe we should start there. Then.
Okay.
Start the press conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How the fuck do we want to go about it? So there's two different experiences here. They had VIP. Me and Dustin didn't have VIP, but there wasn't that many people at the press conference anyway.
Yeah.
That I felt like we were all VIP.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's like that experience is the same.
Agree. Yeah.
And it was super cool. What did you guys think? Did you you guys went to both?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Front row.
Yeah.
It was right there for all of it.
How'd you think it went overall?
I felt like it was a pretty standard East versus West press conference. I was a little worried. This is a 17-match card. This is the biggest card that's ever happened at an East versus West event. So I was, honestly a little worried about how long everything was going to take. And I was like, even the day of the matches, I was like, this is probably going to take 6 hours, 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's going to be brutal.
Yeah.
And it did take 6.5 hours, and it was brutal, but it was fucking awesome.
Dude, it was the best. It was the best time that you can invest in an event like that. Like there was not a dull moment.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some dull moments for me, but I think they got lucky with the way that they put the matches. That you go into a valley and then it's like, oh, but this match is coming up, and it's like a long match. You're like, and then it's like it kind of dips down again, and then the heat starts sweating. And you're like, I'm dying, and then it's like, John Brzezinski, It's like it was ups and downs, but overall, the peaks were way better than the valleys.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like the press conference was kind of the same way for me.
Yeah. Hunter
Uh,
and Doug, I think, was the best. It just
that
came
got me fired
to them,
up,
Hunter
honestly.
Knox and Doug Early. Me too.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go!
I was
like,
they were so invested in that fight.
Emotionally,
but they had so much respect for each other.
Yeah.
But man, Hunter Knox, holy crap!
And
that was
that match. We'll get into the match.
That was Friday, right?
Yeah.
And so Saturday morning, I remember waking up, going down to breakfast, and you know who I see leaving breakfast? Together is Hunter Knox and Doug Early.
Yeah, they sat together during the second press conference. They were sitting right in front of me. They were talking.
Were they?
And I was like, I see what you boys are doing. I see what's going on. But it's like if you think about it, they were both in the same spot almost. There was a lot of pressure on either. It wasn't like one guy had more to gain than the other.
No, not at all.
Hunter coming in had to prove himself.
Yep.
Doug had to kind of prove that he can keep his spot.
Yeah.
So
I would say Doug had a lot to lose.
Yeah.
And
I
Hunter
do
had
think
a
he had
lot to gain.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of there's a big wave behind Hunter right now because of what he's been doing so far.
Yeah.
That if he didn't perform on this card, people would have been like, well, maybe we made the wrong decision on our, whatever. I don't know what.
But I also think he surprised a lot of people.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he surprised me.
Really
I honestly thought that Doug was gonna win.
Really?
I honestly thought just because of the experience that Doug has, and just
I gave Doug the upper hand.
Yeah,
I gave it all to Hunter.
Nice.
Really?
Just because. First off, he doesn't care. He's just going to go in and do his thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, he did not look rattled at all.
Oh, no,
he did not look like
confident.
he was going on the biggest arm wrestling stage in the world.
Doug was after the first round. You could see it on his face.
Yeah.
He was rattled for sure.
Yeah.
But so back to the press conference. Press conference, like you said. So what kind of threw me off, and I don't mean to throw shade or hate towards East versus West, something has to be done with the interpreters. That slows it down and kind of you lose the pace. And I'm sure it's hard. Any fighting organization, it's hard to get interpreters. The people asking the questions, Coach Ray.
Yeah.
Those questions are sometimes hard to put into another language.
Yeah.
I get it. So sometimes the interpreters have to really mix the words around to make it. And then you get an answer that really doesn't sound like an answer to the question that was asked.
Yeah.
So they'll figure it out. I'm sure everybody will eventually figures it out. But that was like definitely a part of the press conference that made me want to go to sleep was something like Vrez and who else?
Rustum.
Yeah. And even Alexandra.
Frank Lamparelli didn't even have a translator. And they were asking if anybody in the audience spoke Italian before the press conference.
Yeah.
So he didn't even have an interpreter. He just did his best speaking English.
Right.
So I hear what you're saying.
But
I don't know how you fix that. I don't know how you
I don't
pay
know.
for really good interpreters.
Just, I think, you have to pay
for really good interpreters.
Find someone who speaks 12 languages and you pay them to come in and, jump around.
Yeah.
And you can do it at a way that like you pace it so that they have time to get over and, kind of have a small conversation with the athlete beforehand to figure out the dialect, whatever, and go from there. But either way, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was not a waste of time.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think my favorite part of the conference was seeing Todzilla and Prudnick kind of like going back and forth, and then seeing Devin back up Todd. I love that. That was so cool. That was really cool.
Yeah,
it was great.
Prudnick was too much for me, dude.
Yeah,
the opera singing is just too much. Like I can handle a little bit of it, but when he's like holding up a phone and a microphone on the phone,
that was a little.
Like, just
I could barely hear it.
Stop.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
I definitely was like, oh, this is so cringy.
I like that Devin was just singing over it.
Yeah. I like that too.
Like you're embarrassing.
Like, stop it.
It was a little bit cringe for me.
Yeah.
But it was. I liked that Devin backed up Todd, and then it was funny after Devin lost a round to Chance, and then Todd beat Prudnick.
Yep.
After Todd's match, Coach Ray interviewed Todd and asked him, "Hey, who do you want to match with next?
Right.
Who you got your eye on?" And then Coach Ray said, "What about Devin? I know you guys haven't had a match in a long time." And he said, "Well, me and Chance are, 0 whatever. I've never lost a round of Chance, so Devin's gonna have to work his way up."
That's why I love that too.
I cracked up.
I don't know how sincere he was, but apparently he wants to have a match with a old school arm wrestler, some Japanese dude.
Yeah.
I forget his name. Shinyo. Man, I'm probably gonna butcher it, but apparently he wants a match with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that'll be.
I'm saying that. That was interesting.
That'd be really.
I wonder who that is.
Maybe I can find it.
Makes me wonder.
Yeah.
But that was also a great match to see. It was so satisfying to see Todd B. Prudnick. All the major American matches, Canadian matches, we won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while since that's happened.
Yeah. We won all the major matches.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Who didn't win? Jonathan Breda?
Yeah.
Who else?
Talbot.
Paul Talbot lost.
Yeah,
Justin.
Yeah.
I consider Reg American.
Yeah. You've been here long enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Chafee won. Paul Lynn lost.
Yeah.
That was one.
Well, let's
Artem lost.
let's do it by the numbers then.
Yeah.
So let's go. Ryan Ballinger and Coach Ray.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yep.
I had Ballinger only because that Carolina Chaos team is something else. They have killers on that team.
Is that the team that Hunter Knopf is on as well? Yeah.
And Warsaw.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, whatever they're doing, it's
Pretty
working,
wild,
man.
yeah.
It's pretty insane because Coach Ray is no joke.
Yeah.
But Ryan Bellinger, he's been doing really well at everything he's been going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Coach Ray, he was like, I have no excuses.
Yeah.
He was like, I trained as much as I could.
Right.
I was fresh. The only thing that he said was that because he had to do the interviews and some of that workload,
Yeah.
he was like, maybe
videos.
next time if I do have a match, I probably won't take on that much next time.
Yeah.
Which I agree.
We talk about that. I mentioned it to you because, Marcus being a senior ref and wanting to be one of the best refs in the world. Putting that
gotta
in your,
choose.
You got to choose because,
one or the other.
he still competes. He goes and refs tournaments all day long and still competes.
Yeah.
And it's just he can't do as well as he could if he just went to compete.
Exactly.
It just takes so much out of you. And the same thing with interviewing people. You have to think of questions and then follow-up questions and how you can speak to different people on top of analyzing matches from before. You have to memorize all that stuff. Like Coach Ray is doing all this stuff off the cuff.
Yeah.
It's just from knowledge, historical knowledge of arm wrestling.
Yeah, but it's still, I would assume it's still mentally taxing.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's what
100%.
he's going through all this, and it's draining him the entire time.
Yeah.
And he
And
has a pretty
physically, because he's got to wake up early and do
Yeah.
be places.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And do things for these interviews.
That was the other thing that Giannis was saying. Giannis was
of
like,
rest.
Giannis was like, I was like in bed at like 9, and
Yeah.
then he'd see Coach Ray come in at like 10, 11, and like opening up his laptop and editing stuff,
Right.
and then they wake up the next morning and Coach Ray is outside the door.
Right.
So like he was probably like jet lagged,
Yep.
and on top of that, just kind of like burning on two ends.
Right.
So he was.
No, it was a great match. I'm glad that he still did it, but he, I'm sure he's going to go back and think about what he wants to do next time if he gets invited, and maybe draw a line in the sand with, limiting how much time. Maybe he only does it Friday.
Yeah.
He interviews for just a couple hours so he can rest the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those guys are going a million miles an hour during these events. The next
we got
match,
Breda and Pradines.
Pradines, yeah, that was a good match, man.
Pradines. That was a good match.
Yeah. I really thought Breda had it, man.
I feel like Americ, two things. One, I feel like he got a little lucky because Breda took the time to showboat a little bit in that third round and lost.
Yeah.
And then, but at the same time, even after round one, you could see the wheels turning on Pradine's face. He's like trying to figure this out. He's like, I'm gonna solve this puzzle.
Yeah.
But he's like also like, God damn, that guy's
This is a hard
strong.
puzzle right
This
now.
is a tough puzzle.
Yeah.
And round two, loses again. Round three, basically stopped in the middle of the table. I'd say. Brady was going surging to the side, but he decided to showboat right there in a great position. I'm pretty sure he had him like this, totally pronated, almost in a high hook, and and Pradines just broke him down from there. And in Breda's post-match interview with Cobra Rhodes, which we should talk about having legends there. Holy shit.
Seriously.
In his post-match interview, he said, like, I fucked up. It's a tough lesson to learn. I shouldn't have stopped to show off. I should have just finished it.
Yep.
And you could just tell he learned his lesson.
Yeah. I mean, Perdines, you could see that man. I mean, he, first of all, we know he's no joke, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, you can tell like he is an athlete that competes in arm wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
To adjust to that,
It's huge.
that's huge. I was like, whoa, this guy actually really wants to win.
Yeah, because I mean, I saw it completely for Breda, and then you just, like you said, you just saw that switch, and unfortunately, Breda was just, he rode that wave of the crowd a little too much.
And maybe forgot the game plan. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what else sucks is that you can hear the breath come out of the crowd.
Yeah.
When Breda goes from a dominant position to a losing position. And we're all arm wrestlers. We know it when we see it. Maybe in the future that'll change.
Yeah, right.
When the spectators aren't all arm wrestlers.
Right.
But that crowd is mostly arm wrestlers.
Yeah.
And we saw Jonathan go from here to here. And we're like,
no.
But
that's just inevitable.
It wasn't a sigh. It was just. It went from cheering to silence. And I can only imagine what that must feel like for Jonathan.
100%.
That must be tough.
Yeah, but like he expressed in his interview, it's a learning lesson, man.
Oh, of course.
And that's all you can do.
Great match.
Yeah. And I think, again, going back, it was such a good match. I don't see them not inviting that guy again.
Yeah. No, totally. I think both of them will get invited back.
Oh, absolutely.
But real quick, the legends.
Oh.
We had Johnny Walker, Numero Uno. We had Cobra Rhodes. We had Jerry Janning.
Yes.
Chad Silvers.
Yes.
We had Devin Larratt technically was on the list of legends.
And the great Johnny Walker.
Did
you say him already? Sorry.
Anybody I'm missing? Was that it?
Ron Bath.
Ron Bath was there.
Ron Bath.
Thank you.
Had a good conversation with him.
Yeah.
That was good.
What a cool lineup.
How did that conversation go?
It was great.
Yeah.
We could talk about it after, but
one of my favorite parts of this event, first of all, it's the first East versus West in North America. So, hands down, have to go. Second, Ingen does these collectible trading cards, which are freaking awesome.
Yeah,
really.
They're so cool.
They're great cards because they're not flimsy. They're not like your typical tops. It's almost like a credit card.
Yeah.
And just great quality. And I was really surprised at those.
And all the legends signed them. So we got a signed Johnny Walker trading card from the first ever North American East versus West.
Right?
This man is 78 years old.
Yeah.
He might never go to another East versus West event.
And still has a hand of stone.
Yeah.
Yes.
That shit's insane. I can't imagine what his hand was like back
in the day.
In the 18-year-old John Brzezinski days.
Yeah.
Johnny Walker's hand felt like you were grabbing, like a rock.
Yeah.
Or like a piece of petrified wood or something. Like it was so stiff still.
Yeah.
And he had a big thumb, and I was just like, whoa, he just must have been crushing.
Yeah.
Insane. Super nice guy. He'll grip up with you and pull you in.
He was doing that.
Oh my God, damn.
He was kind of doing that with everyone. Come over here.
And I'm like, he still got, he was on the after pulling tables, starting like this. Like, he didn't want anybody getting at you. That's fucking cool, man. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. He could barely, he's walking, he had to have some assistance. But you put your hand out to shake it.
That's right. He still knows how to do that.
I was like, this is crazy.
Donald Trump.
Like his youth comes out. His youth comes out once you rip up with him.
Yeah. That was awesome.
So anyway, Legends were cool. I think that was a great part of the experience.
That was amazing.
So kudos to Ingen for making that happen.
You know, another side piece is that arm wrestling is just like jiu-jitsu in the fact that you can touch all of the top guys. There's really no other sport. This is like the only two sports I know of that can happen. Yeah. Where like you can train with the elite guys. All you have to do is go to where they train.
Exactly.
You know, so cool. Other than Percent, because he doesn't really train with anybody. He trains in Arizona, but he does his own thing.
Exactly.
But
he's got videos of
he does, but it's not as easy. Like if you wanted to go train with Devin, just go to Ottawa. It's not as easy. Right. Go to the high hookers, and he'll probably be there.
Yeah, you got to be invited to Berzinks.
Yes. More or less, you do.
So that was cool that they were all walking around the hotel, and you could just go up and say hi and start a conversation. Most of them were super cool, and they just
super friendly,
want to talk to you.
That was the other thing about not just the Legends, just all the arm wrestlers.
All of them,
they were so cool, very warm, very inviting. Super approachable.
Right,
that was great.
Yeah, I agree. It was super cool. Elizabeth Moschek and Alexandra Ozerov. Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool match. Love to see Elizabeth take the win.
Yeah.
Win for Texas.
Yep. Win for Texas. Let's go, baby.
Yep. It's pretty
I don't
dominant
know
win.
who's gonna stop her.
Top roll versus top roll.
Yeah.
Who did Elizabeth lose to last
time?
The girl from Switzerland, right?
Was it Switzerland?
Or Sweden?
I think it was
Sweden. Yeah.
I don't remember her name. Maybe it's time for a rematch. She's #1 in North America, and Alexandra had nothing for her, so we're going to have to find her somebody. Ingen will find her somebody, but eventually she's going to need a rematch with that same
I think Alexandra was depending on her hand to stop Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is just way too strong, way too powerful, and she's just so, Elizabeth, what people need to understand about her is that she's so invested in arm wrestling that you need to be on your game. You need to be training. And one of the things that I was a little disappointed with Alexandra was the fact that she was kind of, implying that she didn't train and, that she was just going to wax Elizabeth.
That's a European way.
And I just didn't. I was just really a little disappointed with her attitude toward the match.
Yeah, whether that's true or not, I think you're doing everyone, including yourself, a disservice by coming in not prepared.
Yeah,
like you're on the biggest show in arm wrestling in the world.
You should be training. Every day.
You should be peaking.
Yeah,
like we got to take this seriously because everybody else is going to.
Yes,
and there's a lot of your arm wrestling career rides on doing well at these types of events.
Absolutely.
If even if you lose, but you showed that you came out, you were athletic, you were prepared. Maybe it's just a bad matchup for you.
Yeah, you were in the match.
That's good. Hey, you'll still get calls back. But if you lose and then you go on interview saying, "Well, I didn't really prepare for this," and it's like.
Yeah. Well, she said this even before. She said this.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it was just like, I don't know.
Yeah, like the promoters, they don't really go through and look at everybody's training schedule and if they've been training and all that. They just hope that you're going to be ready.
Which maybe they should.
Yeah.
Maybe they should see you training, or somebody should. Yeah.
They have like an assistant that goes through and looks at whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elizabeth took the win. That was great.
Yeah.
Another win for Texas and America.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Next one is America versus America, right? Hunter Knobs, Doug Ehrlich.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
Crazy match.
Kind of talked about this one already, I think most people thought Hunter was the underdog.
Oh yeah. In my eyes he was. Yeah.
In my eyes too, yeah. I think it's just because Doug's like the guy that's already been to East vs. West. He's already taken some wins, you know. And Hunter hasn't. So yeah, I'm proud Hunter took out those wins.
Super proud of that dude. And the way it's after he won, he was so gracious. Like his words in after he won when he was talking with I think with Coach Ray, were just like he gave super mega props to Doug Ehrlich, and to his team and Yeah, man, that guy's an ace.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's an ace in my eyes.
He's a really nice guy.
I think that was the best. In terms of the matches that I was the most hyped up about, that was the one because of the press conference.
Yeah.
Hunter was like, "I'm going to beat you so bad, you're not going to get invited back. This is your last East First West, so enjoy it."
Yeah. And Doug was like, "Don't forget, I'm the one who got you."
Yes. You're calling me. Exactly. Yeah, they both might end up being right.
Right.
We'll see. But
so good.
Hunter's definitely coming back, and I cannot wait to see this Carolina boy in Turkey.
Oh. They're going to be like, what is up?
Yes.
Who do you think they put him against next?
I don't know.
I'm very curious.
Who?
Yeah, who else is pulling it that weight? What is Mendaugas at?
The same weight, I think.
He's that
170.
same
I
weight.
think that's a good match.
Let's see.
Ooh, maybe.
I want to see that.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Mindy and that would be really good. That would be really good.
Yeah. Okay, what's next? Is it Corey and Travis? Corey West and Travis Bateman?
No, I think it goes in a snake.
Oh, okay. So it's Justin Bishop and
Justin Bishop and
Giannis Giannis.
Yes.
The Jedi.
So Giannis got injured.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be sitting right next to him and Devin Larrett.
Really?
Having a conversation about it at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, he felt the pop.
He felt a pop. He thinks it was a ligament in his elbow.
Okay.
Possibly a finger flexor. He felt something pop. It hurt.
Yeah. So much so that he was trying to leave. He was trying to take it away by just like kind of hitting up, like doing some push-ups.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
And that's why you didn't see him go side again for the whole match.
Yeah,
he was
just
like, I
get
can't
control.
go side anymore. He said back.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go back.
Yep.
And that is crazy to me. I was like, wow,
against
this is taking the sport to another level.
This is why
where I sustain an injury and I figure out a way to overcome it and change my technique in my game, my strategy.
Yes.
And the way I attack my opponent because of this injury I just sustained. I was just like, holy shit, this is nuts.
Yeah, this is what is missing from being displayed to people outside of arm wrestling, which is something that Flashpin's going to be highlighting.
Yeah.
We talked about it on Monday with somebody, and we have a really friggin' cool idea coming for shit just like this.
Cool.
Because people don't understand that there are many mechanisms to arm wrestling. Yeah. Many. There's many different ways to arm wrestle. And then we're talking about anatomy of the body, like what is actually used. And then if you get injured mid-match or mid-match, what do you have to do to stay away from that injury but still be able to compete? Because you can. Most people in other sports, they won't. You know, like, but in arm wrestling, it's like, I blew my wrist out. You can either succumb to it or, I don't know, a flop wrist. Yeah, exactly. Go into a flop wrist. Or, you know, depending on which side, maybe you can go into a full cup. And that's about it, you know. But you can't dump. Like maybe you like to dump your wrist, and
now you got to rise.
Now you're almost fucked up, and now you just have to rise. And maybe you
you can't go side.
Right.
You hurt your elbow. You can't go side pressure. How do you win a match? How do you pin somebody without going side?
Right.
You tire them out so much that you get them here and you just. Press. No side at all.
Yep. Dude. You can just let your arm flop and just it rolls into your bicep and you just lay your whole body.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know.
And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And it was a clinic.
Or
it was amazing.
Hold back until
he even entertained stopping the match. He said, he thought about it. He was like, I don't know, maybe I should. And you know, that dude pulled it out. I mean, they don't call him the Jedi for no fucking reason, man.
Yeah, no kidding. He did. And, you know, it's crazy because Justin looked so dominant with that top roll.
He did.
But as soon as he started going side, he started losing his wrist. And, you know, what's funny is I saw today a replay of Justin Bishop versus Giannis Amelins at WAL probably like, I don't know, what is that, 2016, something like that, 2017, years ago. And it's the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Where they both end up in this extended wrist top roll. Both of them. Extended wrist top roll. And then Giannis catches him going side. Justin stops because he doesn't like to go side without his wrist. That's It seems uncomfortable to him, and he always comes back to the middle to try to get his wrist back. And you could just see the smile on Giannis's face as he catches him. And Giannis' wrist goes from here to there. And Giannis just goes like, it's over. And Justin's like this, and he's just like, the match was over. And that's almost exactly what happened.
Right.
Years later.
Same thing. They almost the same way still.
Yeah. And Justin should have flopped.
But maybe he doesn't have it, you know.
And you hear Devin. I'm third row on the west side, looking right at the whole West team. Devin runs up to the stage. He goes, press. You know.
Yeah, he just might not have that elbow integrity to do that.
I don't know what it is, but.
Yeah, flopping is something that I have to develop because it feels so awkward that I don't feel comfortable doing. And I don't know that it's because I feel like something's going to break, but it's the most uncomfortable position.
It's a scary position
being in there.
You just got to go into a really slow. I can't speak from experience, but not a whole lot of experience. I just pinned a guy in the tournament in flop wrist press. You just got to get into it really slow. And not just for yourself, but also the referee. Because they're going to be like,
I mean, you just have, I think it's just a thing that you just know that you have that in. If you do not feel confident in that elbow integrity, you're not going to do it. You know.
And Justin's got to figure out how to do that.
I think he does. I think at that level, you have to be able to go. You got to be more versatile. Maybe like one lane that you can't, you don't do. But you should probably do 3/4 lanes. You know. I
mean, there's some guys you see that are just cool pulling top roll without a wrist, and they'll just go straight. Todd Hutchings did exactly that.
That's my hero right there.
Straight side, no wrist, all pronation, just and that's exactly what Justin should have done. Anyway, great match. Love to see that win for Giannis.
That was awesome,
even with the injury. Matt Mask and Lars Rohrbacher. Lars he's almost like a mythical arm wrestler. You know, like
I mean, with the name like Lars
Rohrbacher, and the way Devin describes him as mountain man, he climbs mountains every day, and eats his vegetables, or whatever. And then he showed up late to the VIP meet and greet. All day the athletes have been there signing stuff. Lars shows up last, and he's got this like North Face sweater on. And I'm like, this guy really did just come off a mountain. I'm like, we're in Orlando. It's 90 degrees, 90% humidity, and this Lars Rohrbacher shows up in a North Face. I was like, he really does climb mountains. And then I was lucky enough to see Matt a couple times, met him, and he was just supremely confident, I think, for this match.
I think he was like, there's no shot.
That
Rohrbacher wins. And that's what it looked like. I mean, he's pretty dominant. I don't know where Lars is on the spectrum, and I kind of feel the same about Frank. Like they're obviously high-level guys.
I feel like both of them are really big guys that pull in a weight class that's too big for them. I feel like they could get to a lower weight class and be super dominant.
Man, but Frank is so big in real life. I was really surprised.
He's like 6'1". He's probably like, I bet he could get down to like 209 if he really tried.
You think so?
I could, if not just the weight class right above that. But I think he could probably get there too. It'd be ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous. But that's what we're talking about. So I don't know. They're both incredible athletes.
They are.
like Matt said after that win, he's like, I'm so fucking tired of losing.
Yeah.
And goddamn, Matt, we are so fucking tired of watching you
Yeah,
lose.
we're tired of watching you lose, bro.
I'm so happy to see.
I think he was just plagued with injuries, for a long time. And, I think the recovery stuff, doing the stem cell stuff, I think that really helped him out. I mean, that's pretty much what he said. Like,
yeah, this is, it's such an interesting sport because most everybody has a day job.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy. I think he works on an oil rig.
Yeah, he's a foreman. I think.
He says he wants to move to Texas, or he's thought about it.
Yeah, come on down. What are you talking about?
Amazing.
Let's go. Come to Austin.
Oh my goodness.
We have a great team.
Yes.
Yeah. So they go through seasons, right? Everybody goes through seasons that works a regular job, and sometimes it's up and sometimes it's down. And I feel like he was riding a down wave for a while. But with the medical enhancements that we have these days, it might be easier for these guys to, heal up and be healthy and compete at a high level still while doing their regular job.
I think the other thing we haven't talked about, though, is the fact that it was on our soil and our athletes didn't have to travel.
We're going to talk about that after. We got to get through these matches.
Yes.
Yeah. Vrej
and Talbot.
Yeah.
I had Vrej
100%.
all day, and it sucks because I'm from the West, but like you said, I feel like Vrej is also from the West because
I guess
he's American. Yeah, he's American.
He's American. He's an American that doesn't speak American.
Yeah, right.
Or English.
He's trying to speak English. It's good. Dustin and I were trying to speak with him on Friday, and he was doing a good job.
Oh, okay.
But then his friend had to come over and help him. But that guy is a phenom.
Yeah.
He's a special human being.
To grab somebody by their wrist.
Yeah, he sort of did. Yeah.
I mean,
super low. Yeah, super low.
Don't do that.
And Paul had him stopped above the pad, and Paul looked comfortable, and I was like, Paul might be able to hold him there.
Vrej is way more comfortable there.
He just gave right up.
Yeah, Vrej is like...
He has so much arm.
It almost is like he hits and stays there.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he trains.
Yeah.
He's just there.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, let me try. And then it's, But I think he's more, the first 2/3 is like, oh, you can't stop that. Yeah. But he's like, the last third is like, okay, I really have to try here. Because the angle is that.
Yeah. I heard Bob Brown on the west side in Vrej's corner saying to somebody in the VIP section, you cannot tire out Vrej.
Yeah.
You will not tire him out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see all the
take
videos.
My word for
all
it.
the videos.
I mean, you can see there's a poll with him and Devin, and you see Devin getting tired.
Yeah.
Devin getting tired.
Yeah.
So you already know what type of beast that man is.
No, he's a special athlete for
very
sure.
special.
Yeah.
I really wish we could see more of him. I think we're only ever going to see him when East vs. West comes to North America.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
ridiculous.
But I hope that he comes over here more often, or East vs. West comes over more often, so we can see more of Vrej.
It should happen.
Bring more Vrej.
Yeah.
Bring more Vrej. Yeah. Next is Corey West and Travis Bajan.
Yes.
Yeah. Look,
dude.
Love you, Travis, but
gosh.
I don't even know why this match is.
There's no way in hell.
Can we just talk about how Travis got thrown under the bus at the press conference by Jerry Janning?
No.
When Travis is trying to put on this front like he's super confident, he's
he's
got all this for Corey
in his boots.
And Travis just turns beet red. Travis is like, damn. I think Jerry Janning has obviously never watched any of these press conferences. Because you don't do that. Yeah, you don't say that shit. That's some locker room talk.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
keep it in the locker room.
Yeah, leave that in the locker room.
But who knows how many times Travis has done that to him?
That's true. Or other people, for sure. That's a great point. That's
what I mean?
Right there. Karma.
I mean, Travis is kind of a dickhead. He's a cool dickhead. I love it. He's kind of a dickhead, though.
And Travis knew. Travis is not dumb.
Yeah,
he's been around the block.
Come on.
Yeah.
He knows what's up.
The monster Corey West.
I mean,
he's pulled Corey.
What are we talking about? That guy,
Yeah.
Yeah. And if monster is where he's at, then Corey's going to be, right there with him.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like, that's, like, you can't even count him out.
You have that, and then you just have the immense weight
the size
behind it.
Yeah.
So.
Which, I don't know, to me, it looked like he was down a little bit on weight.
Oh.
Corey West.
Oh, really?
Corey West?
Yeah. It looked like he lost some weight. I don't know. Maybe it was the shirt.
But instead of what, 450, he was 400.
400.
Yeah, it was last year he was 440, and I think this year he's listed at 430.
Oh, okay.
430.
So he's dropped. He probably did then.
So, but he's been 430 for all year.
Yeah.
Last 2023 he was 440.
Yeah, and I mean for this match too, I'm sure if he did lose weight, he could afford it.
Listed were a little sketchy, guys.
Yeah, probably.
There were some weights I was like, there's no way he weighed that.
Like who?
Michael. 220.
Oh yeah. Did that say me? Oh yeah, that did say 220. Yeah.
I'm like, somebody's got to fix that.
He was like
Yeah, he's got to be like 250.
250, 260. Yeah,
260?
Yeah. Easy.
Not 220. Anywhere near.
270.
Yeah.
There's no way he weighs as much as
He
me.
was another one. When I saw him, I was like, holy shit,
So
Michael is big.
I will say, was the most impressive person there.
Yeah.
Looked like an actual athlete that exists at the top level of a sport.
Yeah.
Because just his stature, the way he walks, the way he looks, he's just solid. He's a solid human being. He's tall. The way he carries himself, I was like, that. Almost all the other guys, I was like, man, they look a little bit smaller than I thought. Yeah. Even the Golden Dragon, I was like, oh, he's not that big.
Yeah.
I saw Michael and I was like, whoa, he's way bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
And Prudnick. Prudnick was a specimen also.
Yeah.
But
a specimen,
yeah. So, good. Hats off to Corey West.
Oh yeah.
Travis,
Very
let's keep trying. We'll figure out something for you.
That was kind of just like a celebrity match.
Yeah.
It was fun. What's next?
We
got Dave Chafee.
Chafee Lamparelli.
Yeah, I was
easy money. Let's go.
Super excited.
Was that one 3-0? That was 3-0.
That was a clean sweep. I got a little nervous at the end, but Dave, he really held up. I think he looked almost 100%.
Yes.
I don't think he's hurting anymore. Just an impressive win because Lamparelli's he's no joke, man.
He's no joke.
He's no joke.
Yeah.
And for Dave to go through him the way he did, it felt like old Dave.
Yeah.
It was definitely a step down from Vitaly.
Right.
Yeah, but
that was his last match.
But didn't Dave beat Vitaly?
Dave beat Vitaly. Then they had a rematch. Dave lost to Vitaly.
Yeah.
They just had a rematch.
Okay. Yeah.
And obviously Frank's not as good as Vitaly. So Dave's somewhere in between Frank and Vitaly. Yep. I don't know how big that gap is. Only Ingen knows how big that gap is. But it begs the question, who's the next match for Frank? And who I think would be a great fucking match, which won't happen, but a great match is Dave Chafee and Michael Todd.
Whoa. Yeah.
Not sad.
Now that's a match since they're both in that.
That's a match.
In their comeback.
Not bad.
Yeah.
But with that one, I think anyone who tries I think anyone who tries to top roll Michael Todd,
stupid.
I don't think they have a chance.
Yeah, but we just saw.
Let's get into that because what the fuck? That was nuts. Next match.
Yeah, Artem versus Mendagas.
Mindy. Yeah. Mindy is.
Remind me, how did this one go? I stepped out to get water.
Just complete domination.
Sure.
Mindy's hand and wrist.
It was 3-0, right?
Yeah. Mindy looking at the crowd with absolute confidence.
Why is Artem on? I love Artem. Thanks, Artem.
Thank you, Artem. But what are we doing? This is almost in the same breath as Travis situation. Mindy hasn't really been pinned by that many people.
Yeah. And he's so much smaller than Artem.
He's so much
And he
smaller.
just crushed him.
Yeah.
It's like, what were we doing?
Why were we doing that? That was crazy.
Yeah, I spoke to Mindy, and Mindy goes, I'm like, oh, how much are you weighing? He's like, yeah, I'm 170. He's like, probably on the match day, I'll probably be like 167.
He's like, I'll be less weight. On the day. Yeah, he's a smaller guy.
Ingen posted a picture of him, and his arms even are so little.
Yeah, he's a tiny guy.
He's like, Ingen said something like, he doesn't look like it, but he's very strong.
Yeah,
super strong.
And
we know. I mean, we just had Corey Miller win against him, and Corey's like, nobody in North America will beat him.
Yeah.
He's like, he's just too strong.
Yeah, he went through every technique on the table.
Yep. So that was just a walkthrough clinic for Mindy. That was awesome. Love Mindy.
It's crazy.
Next match, Craig Tullier, Tom Holland.
This is where I think by this point we're all just like, fuck America.
This
America.
We're in it now.
This is when the USA chant happened like every match.
Yes, every
I think Craig really kicked it off for us.
Yeah.
And really set Todd up for success with the crowd, I think, Michael Todd, I mean.
We were just talking about Dave Chafee and the fact that Dave Chafee came out and he jumped and yelled.
That was the most energy I had ever seen, and I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Great point.
Let's fucking go.
He's different.
He's ready.
He's ready.
It was different.
Yeah.
He was
and
different.
I think he didn't even want to do that, but he just was like,
no, he did it. It was just like, that's how he felt. That was the energy, and he was like,
in there. Because if you guys haven't watched it yet, you didn't go. The walkout was not like in a back room or anything. Like all the athletes were in the same room, and they could see the match. There was nothing blocking anything. So they were just sitting there soaking up. Maybe they went out in the hall, but most of the guys were like right fucking there. So you could not miss the energy of the United States in that room. It was nuts.
So, how did this match go? Just brutal hook match the entire time.
I mean, Tom.
Did Tom try top rolling? I feel like Tom tried top rolling, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Something weird happened. So. I feel like something weird happened to that match, but I think for the most part it was just a brutal hook.
Yeah, Craig was just so fast. I mean, Craig is he's just such a demon, on the table, and I don't think Tom. He didn't have the stopping power. I think with Craig, you need to have that stopping power to really get him, and Tom just didn't have it that day. So we got Michael Todd, Kamil Jablonski. Yes.
This is a match that I was super hyped up,
super excited for.
Everybody excited for as it was happening.
This is a big match for Michael's come up. I'm glad to see that he's going to the supers. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up in the supers.
Right.
I don't think that a win over Levon is in the cards for Michael Todd.
I don't think so either.
But
I don't think anybody's there yet.
I do think that top 3 in the world could happen.
Definitely.
I think that's a possibility. I think he could follow in the footsteps of Devin Larratt.
Do you think
ending up being number 2 and falling down to a different weight class as he gets older?
Vitali got them. You think he can hold Vitali?
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
I think
interesting.
That's a long arm. Here's the problem: is Michael when we saw with Kamil, Michael gets into this.
Super
outside,
open top
roll King's move. But the thing is, his elbow's in the back.
It's on the back and on the side, which is very interesting. I've been thinking about like that is a very smart way to arm wrestle. You open yourself up and you come all the way to the side.
So they have to reach really far. But guess who has a further reach?
That's all I was gonna say.
Vitali.
Vitali's reach not only so if you beat his post. That's cool, but if he starts going to the side, I feel like you trying to keep up with his length.
I feel like we might actually see Michael end up in flop wrist
At that point,
with Vitaly
that,
in a top roll.
Oh, it's so interesting because I agree with you. I think his only downfall will be some of the longer forearm because his forearm isn't that long for that weight class versus the other guys, and it seems like he can get pulled off the pad, or have to resort to like loosening up the grip, and then maybe he loses his wrist.
Yeah.
You know, but then he can go through transition to a flop. We know he has a flop.
Yeah.
So
the way he ended that match was perfect.
Yes.
Like for him to like
inside flash
it
pin.
was the punctuation. It was just like, what is
smash him? And you know what was awesome? And I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life. Is I made eye contact with Michael, and I got both arms in the air. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, make eye contact with Michael, and that's the point where he looks over at Rebecca and they embrace or whatever, you know.
So sick.
But I was like this. I really felt like I was part of that video.
No, everybody did. I mean, the place exploded when he did that flash pin on the inside.
And you could see the frustration from Camille. He almost did like a little kid stomp of frustration.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, fuck!
Like I was this close,
man.
Like I can't believe that just happened.
That first round, when he stopped Camille, it was almost a pin.
It was almost a pin.
It was almost a fucking pin.
I was actually calling it a pin.
Yeah, me too.
I was actually calling it a pin.
I thought I saw like pinky knuckle kind of like go down. But then I was like, nah, maybe I'm just at a weird angle. And that's when I realized like his elbow was all the way
on the back,
perpendicular to the other side. You know, I was like, holy shit, that's super cool.
He's really good at rotating his entire body.
I was like, whoa.
I also thought that I saw a couple pins, but you're not at a good camera angle, and we're below the stage, so we have no idea.
Right. But his ability to stop that, even where he went, was that boy is strong.
And
Camille
was not a weak
dude. His Michael's pronation right now, I think it's the best we've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Because there was none of this. It was completely upright. Completely upright.
Yeah. I think it's similar to what like Ryan Bowen talks about, where he has that like lock he talks about with his whole arm. And that's how he does his King's move. And that's why people have a hard time pinning it.
Yeah.
He has this lock, he calls it. And it looks like Michael does the same thing, except he also has a bicep. Right? So during that match, I was still talking to Dustin like, is it the fact that he has a really strong bicep now after surgery, whatever? Or is it that it just still doesn't bend past that point? Did something happen to his where his elbow connects to the back of his humerus?
No, he's got a little bit more range of motion. I think it doesn't straighten all the way, but he's got more range of motion than he did before.
Okay.
But his bicep is also way fucking strong.
I mean, it's huge.
I think it's both.
Yeah. But either way, it was just an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Such an awesome win, man.
That was super sick.
Yeah.
So happy for him. Can't wait to see what his next fucking match is going to be. It's going to be
it's Gennady.
Yeah, Gennady.
It got announced already. Ingen today, I think, announced it's Gennady for sure. It's locked in.
That's going to be a crazy.
That's going to be a great rematch, man.
Yeah. What's Gennady going to do? Does Gennady flop wrist?
Yeah, Gennady does everything.
Yeah.
Gennady's a fucking warrior, man.
Yeah.
That dude's a warrior.
Definitely know he opens.
Yep. I mean, people forget he beat Devin.
Yep.
He beat Devin. You know.
Yeah, Gennady's no joke. I'm excited for that match.
Hell yeah.
Shit. That's gonna be cool.
From here on out, it's is it Paulin? Oh, we skip over to Paulin Babayev. Yeah. Okay. Yep, you're right.
Yep, Paulin.
Yeah. This one was a bummer. When I showed up, I went straight to the pool with Austin Papson, and Paulin was out there sweating in the hot tub.
Yeah.
I walk out the door and I see a scale on the ground, and I'm like, "That's interesting."
Yeah.
And I look over and I see Paul Lynn's head sticking out of the hot tub. And I'm like, aha, makes sense. And I see him with his wife and his son. They're all kind of hanging out by the pool.
Right.
He lays out. He's got towels all over his body.
Nice.
You know, and this guy's sweating by the pool. And then that night at the VIP dinner, his eyes are sunken in.
Yep.
This guy is dry.
On that weight cut.
Yes, he's very, very dry. And, of course, he blew up for that match. My point is Rustam is 5'7".
Yep.
Yeah.
And Paulin is quite a bit bigger than he is, you know. So Paulin had to come really, really far down in weight, and I wonder how much strength was sacrificed because of that.
Oh, obviously.
I'm sure so, for sure.
If not strength, his central nervous system was compromised.
Yeah. Rustam looked pretty dominant.
He probably walked in. Yeah.
What's
No
that?
problem. He probably just walked in. No problem.
I wonder.
Yeah, and for Rustam to come in, I think it was perfect game plan. Let Paul surge as much as possible. Hold it. And then drive through. Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah. Well executed.
Yeah.
He was you could see Rustam was pretty happy with himself.
Yeah.
As he should be, you know, coming back from the injury.
Right.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think if that injury did not happen, Rustam would have had that match.
Yeah.
So
did Paul get wins? I feel like Paul got some wins, didn't he?
I don't remember.
This last match
against Rustam.
I don't know. Maybe the last match. Their first match.
I remember the first match he did.
Yeah, their first match.
It's okay. Next, we got Todd Hutchings and Evgeny Prudnik.
Yeah, Uncle Todd, let's go.
I was this one I was the most excited for, just because I felt the first time that they pulled, I felt like Todd was for some reason completely out of his element, and I think, I don't know, but I think that him traveling, I think it took something out of him.
Yeah.
You know, watching him against Prudnik that day was like, it wasn't like I was watching Todd. You know, I was watching like just someone trying to arm wrestle. You know, and I could be wrong. Maybe Prudnik was just on fire that day. He was his best self. But I also believe that when the athletes do travel, it takes something out of them. And I think that time it took a lot out of Todd.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it didn't this time.
It did
You
not.
know, if anybody had something taken out of him, it would have been Evgeny.
Yeah.
Just because of how far he had to travel.
Yeah.
But he was singing a lot for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, he was coming off as really confident, and you know, Todd just took all that energy out of him, and I loved it. I loved watching Todd just dominate and do what he does best.
Yeah.
We really got to see that hydraulic, you know, side pressure.
Dude, the press.
Just real slow. He get him to here and then just like,
Yep.
And that's that conjugate method training that
Yes.
allows you to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's so insane. I'm so happy he won.
Yeah.
So happy he won. Yeah. And just, I'm going to keep reiterating this because hopefully we get more people that have never been to an arm wrestling match event, have never arm wrestled. Todd Hutchings started arm wrestling at 35 years old.
Yeah.
And he's still arm wrestling. He's
Yep.
50 something.
58.
Yeah. Almost 60 years old. So you can literally start this sport when you are in your,
30s and then make it to the top of the world.
And make it to the top.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Speaking of the top of the world.
Woo! John Brzank.
The GOAT.
Leonidas Arcona.
Yeah. Pretty awesome match.
It was like
a bit of a celebrity match.
Celebrity match.
Kind of.
Yeah, but
Leonidas
more,
is becoming more and more serious.
Yeah.
And he should be taken seriously.
Right. I think he should be taken
seriously.
He's an incredible athlete. He's fucking huge.
Yep.
He's
Super
obviously
strong.
very strong.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder
And he's
what weight
new.
he is. We know he's pretty heavy, isn't he? He's got
It says super
260.
heavyweight, so.
Yeah, he's got to be 260 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So that's tough because Leonidas is going to have a hard time competing against supers.
Yep. He's not tall enough.
He's not tall enough. Or strong enough.
Yeah, I don't think he's strong enough yet.
So,
How long has he been arm wrestling?
Like 3 years.
Yeah. So he's got a lot to learn at that level, it seems like.
Yeah.
Where John already learned all that. He may be weaker, but in that match, you saw John go every defensive lane that you could to come back.
Oh, yeah.
So that was insane.
John King's move.
Yes.
You had to work through a lot of positions.
A lot. Yep.
Flop wrist, top roll, hook.
Yep.
Back to a flop wrist, you know. It was just all over the place.
Craziest, If you want to see all of the lanes displayed and all of its glory against someone for real, you gotta watch that match. That was, I was like, what the? It was just like, I was like, whoa.
And John said it too. If he was not here, he probably would not have tried as hard as he did. You know, I think the energy
helped him.
The energy of the crowd definitely helped him. You know.
Oh yeah, that's
so that was like
I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah, and his theme music was like.
I was about to say his walkout.
That was
epic. AC/DC.
Thunderstruck, dude. I was like, man, this man's about to murder.
The crowd clapping along. You know, they kept the music going.
They kept the music going. Yeah, a little longer.
The table and they started setting up. You know. Oh man, it was so cool.
That was cool.
And at that. Cool. Was it at that point? No, it wasn't. That was during the press conference that Johnny Walker came, right?
Yeah.
Or was it during that match? No, it was the day before. Yeah. Anyway, Johnny Walker was sitting in the front row.
Yeah, not blinking, by the way. When I say this man's eyes were glued to that match, because I was watching him watching the match, and I was like, Johnny Walker is so focused in right now, and I'm sure like he was so proud to see John still doing what John does. You know,
and dude, it was so hot in there. I was surprised to see him still in there.
Yeah,
we're not joking, guys. It was probably 97 degrees in that room,
hot as hell.
And they had a little fog machine going, so it was
97's maybe a little high. Legitimately, I think
it was hot.
If I had to guess, I'd say the temperature was fluctuating a lot.
Yeah,
the AC was kicking on and then it would die.
Yeah,
and so I think it got up to literally 82 degrees, 83 degrees, somewhere in there.
For sure.
But when it's 1,000 people in a room.
Oh, it feels like 90.
It feels like 90.
It's because it is 90. Like people don't make it cooler. And where we were, there was no AC on at all. Could not feel anything.
No, for me, there were definitely moments where I would be like, holy shit, this is like, I could feel the air when I would like move my limbs through it, you know. And then there were moments where I was like, the AC is definitely kicking on right now because it is significantly cooler.
Yeah, they ended up putting up fans too in the front for the athletes, which is great.
Jersey moving out.
Yeah.
Devin Lair took his shirt off.
Oh my god!
You know?
Just drenched.
We're all just dripping. Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal.
Super hot in that whole hotel. Anyway.
Yeah.
So the match that's not on here, Devin versus Chance.
That
wasn't even a real match. So I don't even want to talk about it.
Let's go. We gotta talk about it.
So
bit of a circus.
We have to talk about it. The walkouts. Were hilarious.
Yeah, Devin picking up gummy bears that Chance dropped.
Mostly just Chance's walkout with the gummy bears was pretty funny.
Yeah.
To see Chance smiling at the camera in the middle of that match was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little gimmicky.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, that's a significant win for Chance Shaw.
Well, we
single round.
Yeah.
We talked to Chance, and he said it wasn't a real match.
No, that's not what he said.
He said, had it been a real
match, is what he said.
Yeah.
Devin
I guess you could say implies that it's not a real match.
There would have been fouls called that should have been called.
Yeah.
There would have been way more stoppages.
Right.
Devin wouldn't be running to the other Chance's corner.
That was kind of crazy.
Like, there wouldn't have been him tackling Artem. Jody wouldn't have been able to act like she did.
Yeah.
this was WWE.
I think what he meant by that was, had it been a match for a weight class that was like significant in terms of ranking, and it was, the question was asked in the context of the rules being applied to the match and some of the antics that Devin was doing. That was the context, Devin, in which.
But
Dustin
what I'm saying
Chance
is Devin didn't take the match seriously.
No,
and Chance is saying you're right.
Yeah.
And Chance agrees that Devin didn't take it seriously, and I think Chance didn't either. And it's because it wasn't significant in terms of rankings. And what he was saying was, had it been a real match, meaning a match that was significant in terms of rankings, that the rules should have been applied more strictly. That's what he said.
That's cool, but I definitely would never count that as a win for Chance Shaw. That's like
the win that he got on,
in arm wrestling, John Brzenk after he just got out of the hospital.
It's definitely a win and around for Chance Shaw. No,
I don't think it's just the same as him beating him on the practice table.
That's why Todd Hutchings considers it a win. There's a reason.
Well, he didn't consider it a win. He was just poking fun, saying, I'm 0 whatever against Chance.
He's poking fun, but I think he also considers it a win. I don't know. I think that Devin Lair should have taken it more seriously and not let Chance get a pin on him. But you can see that Devin is trying.
Absolutely.
Devin's fasting. He's doing all this weird shit. He's much smaller than he was. He's not taking arm wrestling as serious.
He was more concerned about the after party.
That's the reason Chance got the.
He was more concerned about the after party than he was that match.
But he didn't even stay in pole.
But that's also the reason why Chance wanted the match in the first place, because he was like, "This is my opportunity." To win a round,
possibly,
possibly win a round. And he said himself, he said in that conversation with Dustin, after I won the first round, he could do anything. Chance was like, I don't care what he does. I literally don't care what you do at this point because I already got a win on you.
Right. But he already had one on him at the Challenger Series. So I don't.
Well, okay, but we're talking about like a refereed.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, Devin couldn't stop him in that after pull, no matter what he did. So, to me, I'd be like, I'm just stronger than him. Simple as that. But, refereed match, he probably just like, that prep, was a nail in the coffin.
A week of prep. Which isn't enough.
No, and I'm sure Chance was running around like crazy trying to get this event together with his dad.
Oh, for sure,
So... I wish they threw some of those gummy bears at me because I love gummy bears. I was like, what the fuck? Stop wasting those. They're on the ground.
At one point, I think Devin sensed the frustration from the crowd, which is why we were getting comments like, all right, I know that there's a party to attend. I'm going to try and hurry this up. And at one point, I want to go back and watch the stream, but at one point during a quiet moment, I yelled from the crowd, just pull the gummy bear as loud as I could.
I yelled, let's just fucking arm wrestle as loud as I could because it was just.
I think I remember hearing you say that.
I mean, it was a long day, especially
long.
up until that point, and then to witness that, it's like, guys, stop! You're about to fucking kill Jody. Like, stop it.
All right,
last match.
Moving on. Jerry Caderet, Alex Kardeccia.
Yes.
Wicked.
Hell of a main match.
To me, this was the biggest surprise.
Really?
I mean, I didn't think that Jerry was gonna win. All right, and I say that because Kardeccia is a little bit more active. Seeing his match, against Georgie, even though Georgie was injured. I was really impressed with that. And just given the fact that I feel like Alex has changed his style, meaning way more versatile. I thought that he would bring more to this match, and clearly he did not. Jerry brought, I think, the best version of himself. I mean, you could just see it. Just a shredded Big Daddy. It was like...
And I spoke to him also the night before. Super nice guy. And he, once again, you could just feel like he was in the right headspace. Like he was like, man, like everything's cool.
I was surprised to see Jerry do that well. I'll say that. I wasn't surprised to see him win.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't. I wasn't confident that he was going to win.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised to see him win either.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see him do that well because he's been so inactive. Like
Right.
Being so dominant.
Right.
It's been a year, over a year since his last match, and it was a severe loss to Hermes Gasparini.
Right.
I think that probably hit a nerve with Jerry. I think that was probably hard for him to overcome mentally.
I don't know what you guys feel about that Hermes Jerry. I don't think that was the best version of. I think that was a really sick
Jerry
version
says he
of
had
Jerry.
pneumonia.
Yeah, that was a
He
really
claims
sick
to have had
version of Jerry. Yeah.
Which is interesting. I wonder if that's true. We all know that Hermes has debatably the most powerful back pressure in the game.
Yeah. Yep.
Which and most people, I think, credit to Hermes' win.
Right.
Over Jerry. And so my thought was Alex is going to have a lot of back pressure too, not as much as Hermes, but he's going to have a lot of back pressure.
Exactly, that's what I thought too.
Arm. You can apply that. Maybe you can do something similar to Jerry.
Yeah.
And Alex mentioned after the match, in his post-match interview with Cobra, that Jerry felt real tight in the setup.
Locked up.
Just super locked in and close to his body.
Yeah.
Super tight.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm just thinking to myself, that's the result of his match with Hermes.
Right.
Yeah, not getting pulled to that side of the table. Kind of like what Hutchings was expressing about the Prudnick.
Yes.
Great point.
That
same thing.
And I've noticed that just myself recently. The more you stay locked, the better. And it's kind of hard as a top roller, like to stay because you don't want to be
long arm
close and have long arm. So
you end up on their side.
Most people, if they're stronger, can pull me on their side of the table. Then I lose. If I don't have the back pressure to pull it back, it's hard to get it back, and then you start doing weird shit.
And it's ultra important for flop wrist because your shoulder can't go over center.
No.
Exactly.
And what Michael's trying to do is get you to pull your hand out over center, so he pulls you. Michael pulls you to the back of his pad, right?
You have to chase him across.
And Jerry's fighting that by keeping you centered, his body, right?
Yeah.
So it's exactly what he should be doing. It was just really interesting to hear that come from Alex and him say it was just a lot of back pressure from Jerry.
I agree with you. I didn't think it was because dominant. I was like, oh, this is about to be a long match.
I thought so too.
Like a super long match. Both these guys just dripping sweat all over the table.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But no, he was dominant. I was like,
whoa. Yeah. Alex was not prepared.
Not prepared at all.
Alex was not prepared. I want to know what kind of preparation he did.
Right.
In terms of study.
Right.
Not training.
I mean, it's hard to.
You've never felt it, you know?
That much pressure coming down on your fist.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to tie a pulley, right? To your hand, and then like have a rope, and you just pull it, and it's like 200 pounds dropping down. You know, like that's the only way. Or whatever Michael Todd does, you know, because he was able to stop Camille's. So
who has the stronger press? Do you think Camille or Jerry?
I think Jerry's more consistent, but probably also more.
Well, some people would say that Camille's left-hand press is the most powerful.
Yes. I forget that his left is stronger than his right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Some people would say Camille's got the most powerful press, but it's on his left hand.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So.
Man, that's pretty wicked.
Yeah. We'll never know.
Damn it! I want to know.
Yeah. So I think it was an incredible event.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, there's already talk about where the next one's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, Ingens put some
Chicago
teasers out there. Yeah. Apparently,
in Chicago,
Travis
New
Bajan
York
wants it to be in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Which I'm not surprised here just because of Chicago.
I mean, I think it'd be great. You know, I think that would be great.
my son's Chicago Bearland.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing too is that he has connections there now. You know,
Right,
so
exactly,
he could probably get like the most ideal venue.
Ingen mentioned Texas. I reached out to Ingen. I was like, hey, I can help you find a venue.
Yeah, he did.
I already reached out to a couple of them.
Yep.
A couple people that work a couple venues, a couple major brands that could be sponsors.
Help with everything.
So I'm like, let's get this event in Texas, you know. Now none of us would have to travel. That'd be awesome.
That would be amazing.
He's, you know, gotten some attention from Mexico.
Yeah,
You know,
he was highly considering Mexico.
Yeah. So
Mexico City would be pretty sick.
pretty interesting. Yeah, you could probably find a really cool venue in Cancun. There's some great resorts out there you could do it in that have theaters.
Yeah, not too expensive either.
Yeah, that you could do it in. Yeah, not too expensive either.
That'd be cool.
Cheap.
I've never been to Mexico either, so that would be fun.
I don't think they would have the same appeal as one that's a stateside because everybody's got to have their
of course, not for Americans. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I would go.
Another international event. It'd be for Mexicans.
Yeah. But man, Chicago.
Chicago would be cool. I think he's thinking somewhere in the Midwest, so everybody in the U.S. can make it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking about King of the Table in Vegas.
Yeah, I think that's already in the books for September.
Yeah. Oh, is that the September one? Oh, wow.
And Ingen wants to do Levon versus Jerry in the U.S.
Yep.
He's like, if Levon gets his
visa,
we're doing Levon versus Jerry in the U.S.
We would have to get our tickets immediately.
Yeah, and that's going to be King of the Table, though.
Sell out quick.
Yeah. He said that'll be King of the Table.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, some pretty exciting things in the future for East versus West.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to see what happens.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
gonna be good.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to go for the next one, but goddamn, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
That was a hell of an experience.
I wonder, like, what time of year the next East versus West is going to be.
Yeah, I think Ingen was saying winter time.
Yeah,
Really?
Instead of the summer. Yeah, he said he doesn't want to do. If he does Florida again, that's what he said. If he does Florida again, it won't be summer.
Yeah, it'll be in the winter.
Yeah. Winter's nice though.
Yeah, it's still like 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a great event. It was fun to go with all you guys, and we had a good time.
Yep.
It was a good time.
Very good
Everybody
time.
the next one, you know, if you can make it, or if you can make the time, you should do it.
Definitely.
Because we don't know how long this is going to last.
Right.
We really don't.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's super expensive to do it. You know, and at some point, traveling and making everybody travel out here, you know, unless they make a home base here to have events regularly, I can see it not happening very often.
Yeah. Like maybe once a year or something like
once
that.
or twice a year.
Yeah.
So.
But man, you would think just based off of this last one that they would fucking try to do
They
it.
gotta
Like,
make it happen.
Yeah.
Like way more than once or twice. Like, you know, like half and half, half in Turkey and half over here.
Yeah.
If they can.
If they can do it.
Yeah.
They should.
They should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was good.
Yep. Good times, guys.
Yeah. I don't know, August 31st coming up. That's our event.
Blackout Invitation.
Blackout Invitational.
Yes, sir.
FlashPinProductions.com.
Yep.
Yes.
Check it
Purchase
out.
your pay-per-view.
Pre-purchase,
Yeah, you can look at the card, look at all the athletes on the card, and hit one of them up. They might give
I'll be
you
there.
a promo code.
Yep. Was that AEW Chronicles 20? Just throw that in there and we're good.
Yep.
So,
You'll get 20% off.
There you go.
Yeah, it's going to be good. We have a lot of work to do still, but it's coming fast, a couple weeks away. What else do we have?
Pretty exciting.
I think that's it for now. Yeah. So
Cool.
that's it. We're out of here.
Thanks for
Awesome.
tuning in.
Nice.
Peace.